Managing a high volume master inbox for cold email is a nightmare, and mainly because replies that are interested need to be responded to very quickly. And when you've got a high volume of leads coming in, it's really hard to tell which leads need to be responded to immediately and which ones don't. This volume tends to slow you down, create bottlenecks, and ultimately create mistakes which cost you calls. So in this video, I'm going to show you an automation that we created using n8n and Smartlead, which will categorize the leads as they come into the master inbox and help you to easily discern which ones need a reply straight away and which ones don't. And then when you know which ones need a reply, then you can either automate replies or you can automate sending it to Slack or wherever your team is, so that you can make sure that you reply to leads as soon as possible. So this is the idea. So a reply comes into the Smartlead master inbox. So for example, this reply from Sam comes in, says, "Bob, not ignoring you, let's be in touch, second week September." Right? When it comes in, there's no tag or anything here. There's no lead category. It just comes in. Right? What the automation then does is it then essentially, when a new lead comes in, we use a webhook to fire, and that goes into n8n. And we use an n8n automation, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. That uses AI. We essentially use OpenAI, ChatGPT, to determine the lead category. So in this case, it was determined as the lead category is going to be a long-term follow-up. Okay. And then what it's going to do is it's then going to update the lead category in Smartlead. This then change in category allows us to build automations. So for example, this one came in and said they would like to know a bit more information. And then this is an automated reply. Thanks for getting back to me. I appreciate the interest. This could definitely share some information. Our approach is a little different. This is automated reply that goes out. Okay. So this comes in at 5:10. This gets sent at 5:11. It gets sent a minute after it comes in, essentially answering the what do you do question. So I'll talk a little bit about how we build that. All right. And then, as we said here, the category changes, which fires a new webhook. We can then use this to see if we should reply or if we should notify the team, depending on what category it's in. So what does this look like in practice? I'm just going to start by talking about the first part here, categorizing. Okay, because once you know how to categorize properly, then you can start to figure out where you'd want to use AI to automatically reply or what things you want to do. So this is how we've essentially done it. When you're using AI to categorize, you're going to have a whole lot of different categories, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 main categories. So what you can't do is you can't just use AI to read the reply and say which of these 27 categories. It's going to get it wrong far more often, essentially. So what you want to do is you then essentially want to first ask AI, this reply that's come in, is it an interested, is it a not interested, or is it an automated reply? Right? Because it's going to get that very accurate. And then from an interested reply, you're going to say, hey, are they asking a question? Are they open to chat? Are they asking to connect with another? Have they misunderstood? Are they a long-term follow-up? Prospect trying to position to their services. Cool. If they're an open to chat one, then we ask another question. Do they need more info? Or have they, provided a time and number, etc. And I'm going to walk through what these all look like in practice. But essentially what you want to do is you don't want to ask the AI which of these 27 categories is it's in. You want to split those 27 categories up into subcategories and subcategories and subcategories, such that the decision that each AI node needs to make is limited. So if it determines it's an auto reply, it can either be an automated out of office, an automated no longer works here, an auto acknowledge, an auto forward, an auto reply with another, or an empty automated email. If it's an auto out of office, we then ask, is this just an automated out of office, or is there an automated out of office where they've provided an alternative email to reach out to? Because we want to do different things depending on this. We probably want to add this to the lead list if they've provided an alternative email on the out of office email. Okay, so this is the logic that we use to categorize replies. Okay, so now what does this look like in practice? This is essentially the same thing, and it looks like quite a cool automation, not gonna lie. This is the same thing as this, except this is it built out in n8n. So what happens? First thing we do is we do a webhook, which essentially fires when a reply comes in. That's all we need to know. So this fires when the reply comes in. We then also see what lead category the reply has, which is essentially what we're doing here. And we're seeing, does this already have a lead category? Right? When it comes in, does it already have a lead category? Because if it does already have a lead category, we don't want to put a new category on it, because essentially what it means is, let's say someone's come back and said they're interested, right? So we've changed the category to interested. We've then emailed them and we get a reply back. If we get a reply back and they've already got that lead category, interested, we don't want to automate something else to happen. We just want to let the team know, like, hey, somebody that already has a lead category has just replied again, because they're probably going to be the warm leads, because they mean they're people that are replying to our emails in some sort of chain. Okay, so if that's the case, we're just going to notify. Otherwise, let's say it goes down here, which essentially means it does not have a category currently. What we do is we use OpenAI and we use 4.0 mini, and we say, here is the email reply, client body. You are a reply classification assistant for a cold email outreach system. Your task is to analyze the content of a reply message and determine which group it belongs to based on how the sender responded. There's 3 possible groups: interested, and then you put in examples; not interested, and you put in examples; and automated replies, and you put in examples. So what you're going to find is it's going to be mostly accurate when you first start, but it's not going to be perfectly accurate. And so you're going to keep an eye on it. And whenever you say that it makes a mistake, that they've miscategorized it, you're going to then take the email that's been miscategorized, you're going to copy it, and you're going to put it in as an example here, and the examples that we're using in the in this prompt. You're going to add the wrong, let's say they classified sure as being not interested, even though they wouldn't do that. Then you'd come in here and make sure sure is an example and they're interested, right? And then over time, this pretty much gets it 100% accurate. I mean, it won't be 100% because we haven't sent out 1 gazillion emails, but it doesn't get it wrong, okay? And then you move down to the next node, which essentially will then say something similar. This is the reply. You're an email classification system. Your task assumes the reply is already identified as interested, okay? Because now we've done this part, and now we're looking at this part. So if it's already interested, which one does it categorize? And then it does the same logic again, where we have examples for each category. You're essentially just classifying based off the examples, and you've got real world examples. And you do this for each of them, okay? Until you essentially assign the lead category here, set the lead category to be auto acknowledge, or set the lead category to be self disqualify, but you can help them. Cool. And then you're going to update them back in Smartlead, and you're going to update the lead category. Okay. So the flow again is a reply comes in to Smartlead. We then use a webhook from a lead reply to use n8n to then figure out the lead category. Again, the main understanding of the logic here is you're not going to just use one node to find the lead category out of your 30 lead categories. You're going to you break those lead categories into buckets. You're going to bucket them out so that the amount of decisions each node has to make is less, and you can get more accurate. Essentially, what it's allowing you to do is it can only deal with so many examples. So it's going to be far more accurate if there's only 3 options with 10 examples each than if there's 30 options with 1 example each. There's just not enough examples per option for it to make an accurate decision. So that's why you bucket it out. Now, the category changes, then fires a webhook. Okay. So this is where you can get creative with it, and you can do a lot of different things. Essentially, now you can set a webhook to fire if the category was changed to, let's say, wrong first name, right? And you can do anything from there. typically, if it's the wrong first name, what would you want to do? You would want to probably message Slack and say, hey, there's been a wrong first name here. Double check that the lead list's first names are correct. Something like this. If they're interested in pricing, maybe you want to notify the team, hey, we've got someone who's interested in pricing, reply to them. Or maybe you want to set up an automation to automatically respond to those pricing questions. So there's infinite things here, so I'm not going to get into it in great detail, but essentially the main idea is once you categorize the category, then you can build automations based off that category, which can either reply to emails or let the team know that you need to do something or whatever. The world is your oyster. This is just one of the systems that we use to book and qualify hundreds of calls every week for B2B companies and agencies. If you're ready to tap into a proven process and have qualified leads delivered to you every week, you can click the link below and see if you're a good fit for the way that we generate business. If you want to see our Loom system for booking these calls, you can watch my previous video where I dive into exactly how we do that. See you there. Peace.